Hello, and welcome to Archvelder's Hacks with Archvelder and his amazing hacks. This video is about gold, and I'm going to be covering some elite exploits to improve the power of some well-known farms. When it comes to gold making, only so much can be revealed by the exploiteer. The techniques I will discuss in this and subsequent videos are methods which have endured through numerous patches and are difficult or impossible to fix due to being inextricably linked to chunks of fundamental game code. Some you may not even think are exploits at first glance. Some will undoubtedly be fixed, which may be by design. Nothing creates more opportunity for the exploiteer than new and unstable code. When it comes to the ghost in the machine, nothing is what it seems. The most spectacularly profitable plays I've encountered in Warcraft often seem ridiculous or trivial. Discount nothing, explore everything. In the Isle of Giants, you can use an effective yet simple method for farming over 5,000 gold in only a few minutes every couple of days, using the exploitation of class trials. The Isle of Giants itself is a weird anomaly on the north coast of Pandaria, with no questline and no real connection to the rest of the game. You have to fly out there across the fatigue zone before you find the relevant flight master. The dinosaurs on this island drop pets, a primal egg which turns into a mount, and giant dinosaur bones. Now this is where it gets interesting and an exploit opportunity opens up for multiple class trial characters. In a cave you'll find the only quest giver on the island, Kuma, who offers only daily quests. There are 5 quests, and the only 2 that concern us are the More Giant Dinosaur Bones quest, which will give you a mode of harmony for 9 dinosaur bones, and Many More Giant Dinosaur Bones, which will give you a Spirit of Harmony for 99 dinosaur bones. Spirits of Harmony are in high demand at the moment, fetching an average of over 300 gold across all realms. You can take advantage of these quests with class trial characters. Simply create as many as possible. You can have a maximum of 8. You can also use alts that you're not actively using for current content. You can just rush around farming the dinosaurs in the traditional manner. However, to make this time efficient, it is much better to park each class trial or alt near a concentration of dinosaurs, repeatedly logging in and out on each trial or alt you're using, and farming the dinosaurs in the immediate area. On some realms you can actually bypass the farming altogether, as dinosaur bones sell very cheap. Technically, anytime 99 dinosaur bones are selling for less than a Spirit of Harmony, you have an overlay and a profit opportunity. Once you've acquired a decent amount of bones on each trial character or alt, you can then park them next to Kuma until your supply is exhausted. Ideally, if this is possible, you'd want to turn them in just before and after daily quests reset. The maximum you can make from this in one day is 8.8 Spirits of Harmony, and at an average price of 305 gold multiplied by a maximum of 8 class trial characters, you'd get 2,684 gold almost instantly. Potentially more with alts. If you're able to log in just before the daily reset, you can make 5,368 gold in a few minutes. Again, not inclusive of any alts you may be using. The whole process, including farming, should get you at least 24,000 gold per hour invested, but it is possible to get over 50,000 if you really push it. This is my favourite method of earning gold, because it mostly just involves you logging in on your class trial characters completing the quest, and the whole process takes only seconds on each class trial or alt. Whilst not technically a vendor farm, the spirits sell extremely fast, even on my low pop realm. The second farm in this series is the Deadmines Defias Overseers, and this has to be one of the weirdest farms in all of Warcraft. You are farming just 2 mobs in an entire instance, which drop 2 items with just a slightly over 1% chance. These are the Blackened Defias gloves and the Blackened Defias leggings. Because of the difficulty of obtaining them, they are priced at almost 17,000 gold on the auction house at the time I recorded this, across all realms. I first found out about this from Student Albatross, who himself found out from some unnamed players on his stream. I'll link to Student's video below. The Defias Overseers can be found just outside of and to the right of the Helix Gearbreaker area, the second boss in the instance, and the two mobs are having a conversation next to our pipe. Now you're literally going to be farming just one mob, and the way this farm works requires you to be able to drop combat quickly. What you do is kill the mob nearest to you, and then you'll aggro the second. Now it is very important you don't kill the second mob, you want to drop combat somehow. When you drop combat, the second mob will reset and then the first will respawn. The key to this farm is resetting combat quickly, and I believe I'm the first person to publish the following method, which I believe to be the fastest method of doing this in game currently. The obvious class choice for this farm is a hunter, as other gold channels have suggested, because their feigned death ability allows them to drop combat every 30 seconds or so. However, there is a trick to increase the speed you can drop combat and farm these mobs. This involves the use of the hunter's Play Dead ability, which you can pick up from the item Pet Training Manual Play Dead, that can be bought from Mardan Thunderhoof in Sholazar Basin, or alternatively Outfitter Reynolds in True Shot Lodge. This item allows your pet to essentially feign death, but it's treated as a separate ability to feign death, with a separate cooldown. Here's how you use it in the deadlines. Kill the first Overseer, and then feign death to get out of combat with the second mob. Now, this is important. Leave your character in feign death mode, but order your pet to attack the first mob as it respawns. And when the second mob attacks, use the Play Dead ability. Now, take your player character out of feign death and wake up your pet, so the cooldowns on each ability can start running down. Using this method, you can kill and reset the mobs twice every 30 seconds, literally doubling the speed with which you can kill the mobs and farm Defias gear. Now, assuming you could sell those items for 17k each on the auction house instantly, then this would be 100,000 gold an hour farm. Of course, as with most high-priced items, they aren't going to sell straight away, but they will sell eventually. I'd farm this location for a few hours every now and again and put one of each item on the auction house every time you post something, and start farming again when you're out of stock. This, in fact, is how you should do most big-ticket item farms. The third farm on our list is the Untamed Clefthoof farm in Nagrand in Draenor. Now, this farm has been reposted many times over the years by several YouTubers. However, the original source seems to be a guy called Samuel, who posted it on Facebook a few years back. Now, this farm is unique in that these Untamed Clefthoofs respawn instantly. Now, the Clefthoofs drop sumptuous fur used to make hexweave bags, and this is one of the main ways to still make money out of your garrison in Legion. There's a really fast way to make this farm profitable, and it requires the use of an Affliction Warlock with an artifact weapon. It also requires you to buy Findel's Looterang off the auction house. That's Findel's Looterang, not its Legion counterpart. When you kill any mob with your artifact weapon equipped, it produces an explosion, and this is the effect caused by the artifact trait Soul Flame. Now, for some weird reason, when you use Findel's Looterang, it triggers the Soul Flame explosion on corpses, and there is no upper limit to the number of explosions you can cause, meaning you can AoE down everything within a 40-yard radius every 3 seconds. By strategically placing your pet and using Demonic Circle, you can kill every mob that spawns in this area without moving. It is the fastest possible way of farming sumptuous fur. Cobra scales are items obtained from skinning, currently worth 1800 gold on the auction house due to their value in crafting popular items such as hats. This farm I found out from a guy called Sharkin808, who has an amazing channel with some fascinating and regular gold making content, which I'll link to below. Here in Shadow Moon Valley, the mobs Kolskar cobras drop the scales. Many of them are deep inside a cave, and the problem with caves is that being indoors, you can't mount, much less fly, and that dramatically reduces the speed that you can farm the mobs at. I found a simple solution to this problem. You can use a warlock or monk for this. If you don't have one, a class trial will do fine. A monk is faster, but I'm using a warlock because I have a warlock with skinning. Put a demonic circle or your spirit for a monk. At this point exactly, the coordinates are the Shattered Plains 51.5, 16.4. Now you can fly down and kill all the Kolskar cobras in the cave. At the end of the cave, go to the same point you put down the demonic circle or spirit on the map, and you'll find you can port out of the instance and use your flying mount to get back to the start 480% faster than running out on foot. This method can be used when farming all caves and many instances in world. An underground, if not exactly secret farm is located in the throne of Kil'jaeden in Hellfire Peninsula, Outland. The throne contains Fellspark mobs which drop motes of fire, 10 of which make a primal fire, a useful reagent which currently sells at an average of 510 gold each. Now, the issue with solo farming this is that quite fast you'll run out of mobs to farm, and this is where you can use an interesting strategy to profit from using your ults. It is kind of like multi-boxing, but you only need one account. Take 2 characters on your account into the zone, one after the other, to the same location. Open a second WoW client. Log in on your first client on your first character. Aggro the Fellsparks, but do not damage them. Then log in on your secondary client with a second character. If you did this right, you should see your first character still in game, motionless, being attacked by the Fellsparks. Kill all the Fellsparks with your secondary character and loot them. Then log back in on your first client, again without logging out on the second, and you'll find that your first character can see loot sparkles from all the dead mobs. Loot the mobs again and repeat. Now, I've logged in on my main mage, Archvalda, but if you look to the left you'll see my monk, Miliaris. Now I'm gathering up a whole load of Fellsparks using my mage's Spell Steal ability. Note that Spell Steal aggroes but does not damage the Fellsparks. Now I'm going to log in on Miliaris on my secondary client, which will automatically disconnect me from the client I'm logged in with Archvalda. Now I'm logged in on Miliaris, and you can see Archvalda still in game, motionless. Now these 2 characters are on the same account. This is not multi-boxing. Miliaris then loots all the mobs, and I can then log back in on Archvalda, who will then be able to loot the same mobs. This is like multi-boxing without actually buying a second account. The advantage of this strategy is that you get 2 times the amount of motes of fire. The downside is that you have a small extra element of downtime due to relogging. Anytime you have a farm where the respawn rate for all the mobs in the area once you've killed them takes longer than the double relogging does, this strategy will prove more profitable than solo farming. Now, despite the enormous power of all these exploit methods and farming techniques, which I use personally on a regular basis, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are a great many things I cannot talk about publicly because they would be fixed within hours if I uploaded them here. I can talk about them, however, on my super secret Patreon feed. However, if you can't afford that, or just don't want to join, then I'm committed to offering the best possible content online here. Thanks for watching. This has been Archvalda.